I be going too goddamn far. Really, I be going so goddamn hard. Cause I don't give a fuck. I ain't worried about what you think. I'm not on your ship. I won't be with you when you sing. It's your girl Shantae, host of the Black Podcast Show. This is the Black Podcast Show. I'm blessed. I'm feeling highly favored to be back with you guys another week. Coming at you guys with some amazing content. I actually have a great show for you guys today. So you know what? I'm not even going to fiddle-faddle and dilly-dally around. I'm going to jump right into it. Now, as you know, if you are a long-time listener of the Black Podcast Show, if this is your first time, that's okay. Just know I truly appreciate you. I'm glad to have you here. With the Black Podcast Show, what you're going to be getting is really pretty much 4 shows in the time of one show. So what I do every week, I give you guys some motivation. I give you guys a true crime segment. I give you guys a Tae Talk or my advice segment. And sometimes I do a pop culture segment. So I'm going to get it kicked off today with my motivation segment. I have a great quote for you guys today, and I just want y'all to open up, resonate with this. I want you to accept what I'm saying. Stop what you're doing. Listen to me. Give me your full, undivided attention. Just real quick so you can receive this quote. And then I'm going to just kind of emphasize on it for a second, and I'm going to move on to my true crime. All right. The quote is this. Have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell. Now, that's by Dr. Samuel Du Bois Cook. I actually read that one again. That says, have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell. Now, what I take from that, I love it because it simplifies so much, especially for those of us that have big goals and big aspirations and big dreams. Have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell. You have to see it before you can achieve it. You have to see yourself not being good at something, not being great at something, but being excellent. Have a vision of excellence. That's what I take from that when he says have a vision of excellence. So what he's saying is see yourself in that position of excellence. You know how you see into the future or you say what you want to do? What he's saying is don't say, I want to be good at or I want to be great at. Say, I want to be excellent at. For me, I want to be an excellent podcaster. I want to have an excellent podcast in the future that you guys listen to all the time because of its excellence, because of the excellence not only in content, but quality. So, and then he says you have to have a dream of success. Now we know what a dream is. A dream is a fantasy. But another word, another concept of dream is to meditate. So you have to desire and dream and fantasize about success. If a dream is like a meditation, that means we have to meditate on our dreams and dream about success. And then after all that, we have to work like hell. We have to push ourselves to make time for our dreams and our desires outside of present life. Now, for me, I'm lucky because I don't have kids. So I don't have to not only go to work, not only take care of myself, not only be in a relationship, not only have friends and have family and keep up with them, but I don't have kids to worry about on top of all that. So I can only imagine what you're going through when you have all those demands of adult life. And then you have kids, little ones that's looking up to you for everything on top of that. That's asking you for money for everything they need. And you supporting their whole lifestyle. So I couldn't imagine that, but we have to. If you have a big goal and a big dream, you have to find time to push yourself and work on it like hell. You have to find time to find 5 minutes and think about, okay, what am I going to do to push my business forward? You have to find time when you're on your lunch break at work to be making Facebook posts or to be figuring out how to boost ads or post ads and figuring out what's the best way to market, and figuring out what's the most professional way to make a piece of content for my business. We have to do all that on top of dreaming and having the vision and seeing it. So, like I said, I love this quote because I feel like Dr. Samuel Du Bois Cook actually simplified what's so intense, what's so serious, and what's so crucial and necessary to the ultimate goal. He simplified it in three quick little quips, but one quote: have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell. And for him, it had to have been that simple. So, just in case you didn't know, Dr. Samuel Du Bois Cook was actually a political scientist, a professor, an author, an administrator, a human rights activist, and a civil servant. But he's best known for serving as the first African American faculty member at Duke University in 1966. So, I mean, this man clearly was a man of many hats. He had a couple things going on. So for him to say, have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell, it is that simple. And on top of everything that he was going through, he was also having to deal with racism and Jim Crow and systematic racism. So if he can achieve all those things while dealing with that, and I'm not saying that racism doesn't still exist, because it's very much alive, but we got to put our head down and stay focused on the goal at hand. We have to keep first things first. So with all that being said, I'm going to move right along. And like I said, y'all, just take that with y'all, that motivation with y'all throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. Actually, that's a lifetime. That's a lifetimer right there. Keep that with you. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into the true crime segment. This is the Black Podcast Show, True Crime. Now, this week on my true crime segment, I am once again talking about a black woman whose situation was grossly mishandled by the authorities in her area. Now, last week I spoke about Kiera Coles, a black woman who went missing back in 2018, whose case was mishandled by the Chicago Police Department with all the misinformation that came out regarding her disappearance. This week, the young lady I'm speaking about, unfortunately, was found, and she was found dead. So this week, I'm speaking about Lauren Smith Fields. So to jump right into it, back on December 12th of 2021, a man who says he met Lauren on the dating app Bumble calls the Bridgeport, Connecticut police a little bit after 6 a.m. It's early. Now, he states that the woman he had been acquainted with for just 3 days, Lauren, was bleeding from her nose and was unresponsive in her bed. When the police arrive, Lauren is on the floor, on her back, and she's dead. So as of this case has actually blown up in the media. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. There's a lot of information out about this case right now. A lot of influencers are talking about this case. I believe I even saw Cardi B has spoke out about this case and stated that we want to get justice for Lauren. And as of Tuesday, January 24th, over a month after Lauren was found dead, the chief medical examiner has finally completed Lauren's autopsy. And he determined that the death was, quote unquote, accidental due to a certain mixture of drugs and alcohol in her system. So the toxicology report stated that there was fentanyl, promethazine, hydroxine, and alcohol all found in her system, which is a deadly cocktail mixture. However, Lauren's family attorney state that this would normally be considered death by toxicity. So on Roland Martin's podcast, Unfiltered, the Lauren's family's attorney actually spoke out, and it's actually a really, really, really good podcast to listen to get some facts directly from the attorney. I believe he interviewed the attorney. I believe Roland Martin interviewed the attorney twice, maybe 3 times. So he actually tells a story on Unfiltered about another client he had where
his black client had a white friend that called him and said, "Hey, dude, let's go party for the weekend." So the white guy, not his client, the white guy had some cocaine. The black guy brought heroin. And so at some point or another, the white guy takes the heroin, not bought. He takes it. He just gave it to him, and he ends up dying. And after, excuse me, I just bumped the mic. After everything, the black guy ends up getting charged because he gave him those drugs, and the autopsy reported toxicity, that he had died from toxicity. So it's just one of the small things, the small details that they change when it comes to a black victim. So, and also we just want to consider that not only after the autopsy came back did the Connecticut police even decide to pursue the death as criminal due to the drug involvement, because now they have to figure out where did Lauren get these drugs from, whether she took them voluntarily or whether someone drugged her. Where did they come from? This whole time, it's been over a month. There's been nothing done. So, with all that being said, let me actually just rewind the tape a little bit. I know y'all been thinking like, Shantae, what happened? How did all this? Let me rewind the tape. And as I stated at the beginning of the story, the police were alerted of Lauren's sudden, untimely death by 37-year-old Matthew LaFountain, who had only become acquainted with Lauren, who was 23, a few days prior. Now, if you follow crime stories the way I do, then you know that typically after Matthew called the police, they would have, one, not only kept him for further questioning, but two, also collected evidence from the assumed crime scene, Lauren's apartment. However, the Bridgeport police did neither. They simply took this guy's statement, asked him a few questions, and let him go. They let him go, being sure to note that he seemed, quote unquote, shaken up. A woman has just been found dead in her apartment, and we're worried about the older guy that she clearly had some kind of, maybe a one-night stand with, being shaken up. That's what we're worried about? Knowing the violence that happens against women. Okay, so anyways, I always saw Connecticut as, I don't see Connecticut as a diverse place. Let me just state that before I go any further, because I'm biased. I've never been to Connecticut, but I assume Connecticut is a majority of a white state to live in. Bridgeport may be one of the black areas, but I would assume that Connecticut is a majority white. But anyway, like I said, Matthew LaFountain met Lauren on an app called Bumble. LaFountain states that Lauren had asked him for $40 to get her nails done, and he was bringing it to her. But her family states that Lauren had just gotten her nails done earlier in the week, so she wouldn't have needed her nails done. Now, I'm going to say with this, I would like to get more information about that, but either way, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Lauren just asked him for $40, like if she just wanted the money from him and she knew that he would give it to her. But either way, he came by, and from there, they pretty much decided to just kick it. According to the Daily Mail, LaFountain told the police that the two played games, they ate food, they took shots of tequila, was watching a movie, like big kicking it. This dude is 37, so for him to be kicking it with a baddie like Lauren that's 23, this probably was the time in his life. But while they were watching the movie, LaFountain says that Lauren received a text message that she told him was from her brother. He says that Lauren went outside and was out there for a while, and then when she came back, she went to the bathroom for like 10 to 15 minutes. Now, this is all according to the police report that the Daily Mail obtained. He said that he thought it was weird that she was in the bathroom, but he didn't think it was his place to say anything. Now, Lauren's brother, Lakeem Jeter, actually corroborates this part of the story. Lakeem actually says he came by to pick up a basket of his clothes, and Lauren probably stayed out of his car for about 10, 15 minutes. So, brother also says that Lauren didn't seem off in any way. She didn't seem tired. She didn't seem like she had been drinking, much less drunk. And he said she didn't look like she had been sick. And in fact, Lakeem had no clue that anyone was actually inside of Lauren's apartment. Oh, you know what? I actually left out one part. So, like I said, Lauren and LaFountain were taking shots at some point before her brother texted her. Before all that, Lauren actually did get sick. She went in the bathroom and threw up a few times. She was in there for a few minutes and then she came back out. And they continued to take mixed drinks. So I thought that was a little bit strange. But anyway, so her brother comes, grabs the basket. She's down there for a few minutes. She comes back inside. She's in the bathroom, according to La Fountain, for 15 minutes, which he thought was strange. But after 20, 30 minutes of Lauren running around while she has this random guy in her living room, LaFountain says she finally settled back in and they killed the bottle of tequila, watched the movie till Lauren fell asleep, and he says that he carried her to her room and put her in the bed. He got in the bed with her and went to sleep. I'm going to just say this before I go any further. Like I said, LaFountain claims that while they were taking shots of tequila, before her brother came, she got sick and she went in the bathroom and was throwing up, and then she came out and said she was fine. Maybe it's just me, but if I'm at somebody's crib that I just met and we're having a good time and they go in the bathroom and start throwing up, at that point, I'm going to kind of want to end the night. And it's not even to be funny, but that would make me a little bit uncomfortable. And when I'm sick, when I'm throwing up and stuff, I don't want to be around somebody I don't know like that. I want to probably be by myself, but everybody's different, so maybe Lauren wanted him to stay. Maybe he thought it would be rude to leave if she was sick. But they continued drinking. I think that's maybe the part that's weird. But whatever the case is, like I said, he carried Lauren to her room, put her in the bed. He got in the bed with her and went to sleep. LaFountain says he woke up around 3 a.m. to use the bathroom, and he heard Lauren snoring. He alleges that he woke up again at 6 a.m. and found that Lauren was laying next to him unresponsive and nose bleeding. And that's when LaFountain claims to have called 911. Police report says they found Lauren laying on her back on the floor. Now, this is one thing that none of the sources that I've read have actually made a note of the discrepancy. Why was she on the floor? He said he woke up, she was laying next to him in the bed on her right side with the bloody nose. Police report says they found her on the floor on her back. Maybe he transported her from the bed to the floor because he thought that was a good idea for whatever reason. But I don't understand why that wouldn't have been included, the fact that he transported her from the bed to the floor. LaFountain says that they did not have sex, and the police pretty much take everything this guy says at face value. They take the statement, have the body removed, and it seems like just an open and shut case for them. You know, despite the fact that they have confiscated Lauren's phone, wallet, and over $1,000 cash, Bridgeport police never even bother to call Lauren's family and inform them of the terrible and tragic situation that's occurred with their baby girl. Never did the Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department think this is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's sister. This is somebody's cousin, niece. This is somebody that somebody else cares about. Lauren was well kept. This is a young woman that somebody cares about. Y'all had her wallet. I know how to find somebody's people if need be. I know how to, what's the word I'm looking for? Skip trace. So it blows my mind that the police never thought to get in contact with Lauren's family. Lauren's landlord didn't have her family's information, which I also find kind of strange that he wouldn't have had an emergency contact for her. But whatever the case was, he didn't. However, he did leave a note on the door, which her family found a few days later after they hadn't heard from her and got worried and went to her apartment and found the note from the landlord stating, if you're looking for Lauren, call this number. Which, let's just add the anxiety and fear that her mom, her whole family, but her mom must have felt seeing something like that. What do you think? what thoughts run through your head when you haven't heard from your baby girl in a few days, and that's not like her? What thoughts go through your head when you go to her apartment and you see a note on her door saying, if you're looking for Lauren, if you're looking for your baby girl, call this number. And then from there, the landlord actually tells them the bad news. From there, her worst fears are realized. Her baby girl is dead. And nobody bothered to call and tell her. The landlord gives them the detective's number. The family said right away the detective was dismissive and rude. I believe this is Detective Conley or Conroy or something. A couple weeks later, when Lauren's family goes back to clear her things out of the apartment, imagine their surprise to find out that virtually no real evidence has even been taken from the apartment. Right away, Lauren's family notices that the 2 glasses that apparently Lauren and LaFontaine had been drinking out of, likely, were still there, with liquid still in them. The police had not bothered to take their glasses or the liquids inside of them in for testing. They didn't think enough of Lauren to take this seriously. The family found a condom with sperm inside of it. I believe they found that in the trash can of her bathroom. They found lube. They even found a pill on the counter in the kitchen that turned out to be a sedative. Thankfully, the family took pictures and called the police to come pick up the evidence. However, it's been over a month since then. Now, this happened, like I said, 2 weeks after Lauren's death. This was on December 29th. And as far as I know, the evidence still has not even been sent out for testing. So we still don't know whose sperm is inside of that condom. We still don't know if the drinks that they had been drinking if one of them had been drugged. If there's any residue of anything inside of the glass. And obviously there was no rape kit performed. I'm just a regular person that enjoys listening to true crime shows. I'm just a regular person that watches SVU. And even I know that so far, once again, this is another case of a black woman being neglected by the police, being neglected by those in authority that are supposed to protect us, that are supposed to serve and protect tax-paying citizens. What did Lauren do to deserve being completely ignored? What did Lauren do to deserve not even the decency and respect of the police calling her family to let them know that she has been killed? Lauren would, and I don't want to say this as if anybody wouldn't deserve the same respect, but Lauren was a young lady that had her own apartment. She was in college. Obviously, she had some things going on, and I just want to say, it's not like this is a homeless person they found on the side of the road that they have no way to identify. Because the fact that they identified her means they could have found her mom. It's that fucking simple. Excuse my French, excuse my cussing. It's that fucking simple. If y'all identified this girl, you could have found, the police can find her mom. Like, come on, man. I don't even have to say all this. I don't have to explain this to y'all. Y'all know. So how dare the family not feel like this is racially motivated? When this white guy has taken this black girl home, this fucking stranger has come to this young lady's house, and next thing you know, she ends up dead. And this guy has all of a sudden lawyered up. Of course, he lawyered up. So, and also I want to state that on Roland Martin's podcast, the family's lawyer did insinuate that this guy, Matthew LaFountain, may have some connections in the Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department. He may have a best friend that is a police officer that he may have called, and they are seeking those phone records. Oh, and get this. So, like I said, these two, Matthew LaFountain and Lauren Smith Fields, allegedly met on the dating app Bumble. Bumble has released a statement stating that they're saddened by this tragedy, etc., and that they are willing to oblige and cooperate with the police to any extent. However, the police have not requested any of the messages. They're willing to release them. However, they've not been requested. This is the simplest shit. This is the simplest things that you request to ensure that there's no foul play. They instead immediately found the body and said, "Oh, it doesn't look like there was any foul play." How does it not? And then the family even said, when they called the detective and asked him, who was this guy that she was with? What about him? Oh, he seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like a nice guy. No, the fuck he doesn't. When he was found, when he found my daughter dead after he spent the night with her, he don't seem like a nice guy to me. He don't seem like a nice guy at all. He seemed like somebody I might want to talk to. So we need to put the pressure on Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department. I believe the mayor in Bridgeport has actually requested that this case be looked at, investigated federally. So they will figure out what the fuck is going on and get to the bottom of it. I'm pissed. Like, I'm really, really frustrated because I'm tired of black women being black people, period. But these last two cases specifically, I'm tired of police looking at black women and saying, fuck it. I'm tired of police looking at black women and saying, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like following proper protocol. I'm tired of police looking at black women and saying, oh, she must have been a prostitute. She asked him for $40. Bitch, she didn't need your $40. I seen Lauren's Instagram and TikTok. She seems well cared for. Like I said, she had her own shit. I don't know the girl from a can of paint, but to just be like, oh, she was a prostitute, fuck it. Even if she was a sex worker, that doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve the human rights that we all deserve just for being here. And as a citizen of Bridgeport, she deserved for a proper investigation. She deserved for her potential murderer, this guy that found her body, quote unquote, to be taken in for some kind of questions. She deserves for her apartment to be thoroughly searched for evidence. And this guy is saying they didn't have sex, but it's a condom that was sperm in it. Like, come on, man. So I'm going to switch gears, but yes, we need to, man, just justice for Lauren. Rest in peace, Lauren. Rest in love, like all that. And we need to just put pressure on the Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department and put pressure on America as a whole. Black lives matter. Like, damn. What more needs to be said? What more can we possibly say? Well, how many times do we got to march? So, Lauren, justice for you. You didn't deserve this. To Lauren's family, they have a GoFundMe set up. I will more than likely have it linked in the comments. Or in the description box here. So yeah, just donate, and because what they want to do is launch a private investigation. Like I said, they did rule the death accidental overdose, but we need to figure out where those drugs came from, how they got into Lauren's system, and we need to learn more about this Matthew LaFountain guy. The last name LaFountain is terrifying to me. I've never heard that last name before, so this nigga is up to something for sure. All right, let's go ahead and switch gears. I'm going to talk about something a little bit more lighthearted. I'm going to jump into my Tae Talk. And this week on the Tae Talk, I'm going to be doing some Reddit stories called Am I the Asshole? And what happens on Am I the Asshole, aka AITA, people write into Reddit with their stories, their issues, their situations that they may have handled improperly. They give us the synopsis, and they leave it to strangers of the internet to determine, are they the asshole in each situation? So today, I'm going to be giving some people advice, letting them know were they the asshole or not in each situation. I would love for you listeners to drop comments in the comment box in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think these people are assholes or what. And this week, I actually have something special. I have something very special in Tae Talk history. Am I the asshole history? I have 3 Am I the Asshole posts by the same user. I do not believe she is trolling. I believe this is dead serious. I'm going to call her Savannah, and I'm going to read all 3 of Savannah's posts. I'm going to read the comments, and I'm going to give my opinion. Actually, I'm going to read the post, give my opinion, read a couple of the comments, and we'll go from there. And y'all tell me what y'all think about Savannah. All right, let me start with the first one I saw. I saw this one when I was up this morning at like 6 o'clock. All right, it says, am I the asshole for refusing to give back a book to its owner sold by mistake after I purchased it? All right. I, 29-year-old female, am an avid buyer of sales and being part of different social media where people sell used items. The old adage is, one man's junk is another person's treasure. A lady who's also a friend places 20 books for sale for $5. I immediately reply to the post to purchase the books and pick up the books from my friend for $5. Later that night, I receive a call from the lady that she accidentally sold her husband's first edition, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, first printing. She tells me her husband is livid and it's creating marital discord with their marriage. I tell her that I will look into the situation and get back with her with an answer. I explained the situation to my parents, and they said under no circumstance do I return the book. It is ethically and morally yours, and you have no obligation to return it. My husband disagreed with my parents and said it was an honest mistake, and you will lose your friendship over a $1,000 book accidentally sold. I subsequently took my parents' advice and kept the book, and she kept the $5. Am I the asshole for not returning the book and losing the friendships? She subsequently took me off her WhatsApp group of items people are selling, and I can no longer buy on that platform. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole for keeping the book that my friend sold accidentally. Am I the asshole for not returning the book if it was an accident? Yo, I'm going to say this, Savannah. It's a couple things. Okay, right off the bat, yes, you are the asshole. You are undoubtedly the asshole. No question in my mind about it. I don't even have to think about it. It's no doubt you are the asshole. The fact that you typed out this letter and at no point did you have the self-awareness to realize I'm the asshole lets me know that you need some help. Savannah, your friend calls you after you bought 20 books from her for $5. Not 20 books that you needed, because you don't even say, what the books were. It looks like it was just 20 random ass books. You went and got them for $5. She calls you back in a panic and says she accidentally sold her husband's first edition, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, first printing. Now I'm going to say this. I believe this book is one of those classic American books that most people read in high school. Because when I heard The Grapes of Wrath, I immediately started thinking about Of Mice and Men in 1984. It just took me back to that time in high school. So I probably read it back then. I know it's like a classic American novel. But this is the first edition, and it's her husband's. So for me, personally, especially like right off the bat, her telling me that, I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. I'll probably get it back to you when I get a chance. But then when she says her husband is livid, that means her husband is pissed the fuck off at her. And it's creating marital discord with their marriage. Girl, say less. Bro, I'm on the way. You said this book is causing problems. This book, the fact that you accidentally sold me this book is causing you distress. I'm on the way. I got 19 other books. Don't even worry about it. Stress no more. I'm on the way. Hold on. Let me check the box while I got you on the phone. Let me check the box while I have you on the phone. And I'll let you know right now for sure this book is in here and I'm on the way to bring it back to you. The fact that the next line is, I tell her I will look into the situation. It's not a situation. It's nothing to look into except the box. And then you call your parents. I explained the situation to my parents, and they said under no circumstances do I return the book. Savannah, you are 29 years old. There was no reason you needed to explain the situation to your parents at all. It was no reason you needed to run this by them to get some advice on what to do, bro. Like, you should be old enough to be able to make this decision on your own, to take your friend, because this is not even a random stranger. It would have been kind of messed up, but a random stranger online that sold you these books, don't even respond if you don't want to. Your fault. That has nothing to do with me. Oh, you accidentally sold me a book that's worth $1,000 for $5, and not even $5 for actually change because you sold me 20 for $5? Your problem. But the fact that this is your friend, like, come on. Anyway, yeah, you're the asshole. A couple of the top comments. You're the asshole. You have every right to keep the book, but you're still an asshole for doing it. Your friend made a mistake and you took advantage of her. You can be right and an asshole at the same time. Totally agree with that. And just real quick, the fact that you said, my parents said that it's ethically and morally yours, you have no obligation. When people start saying stuff like that, oh, ethically and morally, and I mean legally, if we gonna say all that, that's how you know you dead wrong. Because yeah, you can get away with it, but you're wrong. So then somebody comments to that and says, check her post history. OP, you need to learn that as a married 29-year-old, it's not you and your parents anymore. It's you and your husband and your child. Please seek a therapist before you alienate your husband and to find the root of your bizarre behaviors. So that's how I ended up seeing all Savannah's other posts. So somebody else says, you're the asshole just because you're legally in the clear doesn't mean it's ethical. You're the asshole. It wasn't even her book to sell. Your parents are greedy as fuck, by the way. You're the asshole. Give it back unless you prefer money over decency. All right, let's see. You're the asshole, major asshole. This was a mistake. One she quickly tried to rectify. You got 20 books for $5. You're already coming out on top of this. This book clearly means a lot to her husband, and the fact that she told you this is causing a problem in her marriage and you don't care speaks volumes about you. People make mistakes. What you're doing is intentionally being obtuse. There's no way you don't know you're the asshole here. Your parents gave you really bad, selfish advice, to be honest. Put yourself in her shoes. How would you feel if you accidentally gave someone something of importance to your husband and he got incredibly upset with you and lost trust in you? And when you attempted to get it back, you were told, nah, it's mine now. And somebody said, then she edited that comment and said, I didn't read her other posts before I left my judgment. Clearly putting herself in other shoes won't be effective. Hopefully her self-proclaimed belief in karma will. So that's the first one. I have another one from Savannah. Am I the asshole for not paying daycare because the administrator failed safety protocol audits? So when I read the first line of this, y'all immediately are going to say, for me, immediately when I read the first line, I said she's the asshole. But let me just jump right into it, y'all. Save y'all judgments. I'm 29-year-old female. I sent my precious 3-year-old daughter to daycare. The daycare was average service and provided the care that my family needed while both my husband and I were working. They did at times send my daughter back home with a dirty diaper, and I noticed she came home at times with food left over. I'm not sure if they didn't offer food during the lunch and snack times or if my daughter is a picky eater, and that's why she didn't eat all her food. The daycare resumed back from holiday break, and my daughter excitingly went back. That was on January 3rd, 2022. 2 days later, on January 5th, Wednesday, 2022, the daycare informed all of the parents that they needed to close for Thursday and Friday to implement a plan of corrective actions for safety protocols that they didn't pass when they were audited, including required fire drills per month and fire safety equipment that was missing or broken, such as fire extinguishers and fire alarms not working. They subsequently opened back on January 10th, 2022. My husband and I decided that these were super important things and that we were stressed that they didn't pass and that we wouldn't send our child back to this daycare, and we would use flexibility in both of our schedules for the month, including having our parents watch our daughter to ensure her constant care. I got a call Monday this week from the administrator demanding payment for the month of January, and I explained that our child didn't go to daycare except 3 days and that we would gladly pay for the 3 days. He responded that sorry, it doesn't work that way. You are obligated to pay for the entire month of January since your daughter attended 1 day, and that until they could find a replacement, they could charge me for the upcoming months, i.e. February, etc. I looked at my contract with the daycare, and it does say that payment is due at the beginning of the month, but doesn't specify about closures, etc. It also doesn't mention about finding a replacement. I told the story to my mother and father, and they said that the daycare doesn't get another penny, and that they were going to speak with the administrator tomorrow. My husband, however, disagreed and said, let's just pay them for January and tell them my daughter is done with childcare. The administrator called me today again about payment and was horrified that my mother and father visited this week the daycare to argue about the payment. I explained my parents have taken the burden of childcare because they provided an unsafe environment. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for the daycare for the entire month that my daughter didn't go? Or maybe the administrator should understand that it is his fault for the failed audits and should only ask for payment for the 3 days. You know what? Reading that again, I still think you're the asshole, but not as much as I did earlier. Savannah, you are the asshole because at the end of the day, there was a contract in place that stated that you had to pay on the first of the month for a month of childcare for your daughter. You was already 2 days late on your payment because you were supposed to pay on the first. Or at least the first day you took her back would have been, which would have been the third. So by the fourth, she had already attended 2 days without pay. So you're the asshole for that off the bat. And then to say, to have your parents go up there. Once again, Savannah, you're 29 years old. You don't need your parents. You need to handle your own business. And you need to listen and confer with your husband. I'm not saying you have to listen to your husband and do what he tell you to do. But if your husband is saying one thing and your thought process is totally different, you don't get to just be like, okay, mommy and daddy, can you guys go do X, Y? No, your husband said pay for January and fuck them after that. And that's what you should have did, Savannah. You should have paid for January. And I don't agree with them saying that they can continue to charge you for subsequent months until they find a replacement. No, that's some bullshit. And no, even if that is in the contract, that's bullshit. And I can understand if you didn't pay that. I guess that would still make you the asshole, but yeah, not the asshole for January, but also I'm kind of thinking now, if they told you guys on Wednesday that they had to close Thursday and Friday, that had to have put y'all and the other parents in a really bad situation. And with that being said, I actually understand the reason why you took your daughter out of that daycare. Because if you tell a parent on Wednesday, hey, you can't bring your kid here on Thursday and Friday. And if I'm one of the parents that already paid for the month, if I paid on the 1st or if I paid on Monday the 3rd, I'm pissed. I'm extremely pissed because now I have to scramble last minute and figure out other childcare measures. Now I have to, like, what if I don't have family in the area? Now I have to find another daycare with people I haven't built relationship with. So with that being said, I do kind of feel like you're not wrong for even taking your kid out, because I agree with you in saying that it's the administrator's fault for failing the audit. The stuff with the safety equipment, the safety equipment being broken that's a problem. And I can understand, Savannah, why you felt your daughter might have been unsafe at this daycare facility from there, because the fire extinguishers being broke. Fuck an audit. What if it had actually been a fire? You know, the smoke alarms being broken. Fuck an audit. Once again, what if there had actually been a fire? So I do feel like what you should have done is not just take your daughter out and never say anything. What you should have done was inform the administrator or someone in charge up there what your plan was, and y'all should have resolved it right then and there. All right, let me read some of the comments. Some say, you're the asshole. It took me to, quote unquote, precious 3-year-old to figure that out. And I swear, like, it's something about the tone in her post. I sent my precious 3-year-old daughter to daycare. You sound like a Karen, Savannah. That's what I should have called you. Karen. Then someone says, so according to your contract, payment is due at the beginning of the month, and you didn't even pull your daughter out until the 10th when they reopened, and you didn't mention that you even informed the daycare center that you were pulling your daughter out, just that you made the decision to keep her home. Even if you decided on the 5th when you were informed of the safety issues to not send your daughter back, the fee for January was already due. You're the asshole for not paying for January. It is in your contract, and it sounds like you were trying to twist all of this audit stuff around to get out of paying, even though that came up after you were supposed to pay. Them telling you that you have to pay for February sounds like BS. Make sure there isn't a clause in your contract about when in the month you need to withdraw your child to avoid paying for the next month. Now, that comment I totally agree with. I totally agree with. You signed a contract stating that you're obligated to pay the daycare center at the beginning of the month. If you want to break that obligation, you need a lawyer, not a bunch of internet strangers agreeing with you. You're the asshole. Okay. I agree with that. All right, last one. I mean, this is a legal matter. Morally, I agree, but your parents going over there is kind of over the top, in my opinion, and has probably made matters worse, period. If I was the admin, I'd probably just blacklist you from the daycare and be done with it. Maybe report your lack of payment to a credit. They could probably try and sue for the money, but I wouldn't want to bother personally. Edit, I didn't even consider the possibility of the daycare reserving a spot for OP's kid, but it makes sense that they can only care for a finite number of kids, right? You basically prevented them from being able to take on another client that would have paid them. And to add on to having other people harass them for you, I can't help but see you as the asshole. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Not only did you not pay them, you had a receipt reserved for your daughter, and on top of that, you had your parents go up there. Yeah, I just want to see real quick, is there anywhere that says she's not the asshole? Yeah. Okay, let me see. This one says you're the asshole only mildly. Contract is a contract. You have to pay the month. You don't have to find a replacement, though. That's ridiculous. But circle back to your parents going to your child's daycare. What is that? How do you have a child of your own and have mommy and daddy to fight your battles? That's just ridiculous, okay? So that's the main thing that everybody's saying. You're the asshole because, for one, the payment was already due. And for two, you had your parents go up there. Like, bro, you're never 16. You're 29 years old. You're almost 30, bro. Like, you're not even grown. You're not even an adult. You're a grown ass woman. So you gotta tighten up, little baby. All right, so I'm gonna actually finish up tonight, and I'm gonna jump into some pop culture real quick. So, if you are familiar with the world of blogging and YouTube and I guess black pop culture, you may have heard about a blogger by the name of Tasha K. Now, Tasha K has a YouTube channel called Unwind with Tasha K. I'm not really sure what it's all about. I'll be honest about that. I've always heard of Tasha K over the last few years. I figured she was like a celebrity gossip blogger. And I'm guessing that she drinks wine while she talks about all this shit. I don't know if she started off maybe doing like wine testings, reviewing wine. But whatever the case is, she's pretty much a celebrity blogger or gossiper at this point. So over the last couple years, and I had kept hearing about this, I guess I just never put too much thought or stock into it because I just figured that. Well, let me explain what's going on. So over the last couple of years, Tasha K has made over 20. I think they said it's been up to like 40 videos of her talking shit about Cardi B. And when I say talking shit, I mean really defaming this lady, talking about Offset cheating on her, talking about Cardi B having an uncurable STI. She said that Cardi had herpes in her mouth and she was going to pass it on to her kid, and that her kid would have, like, intellectual disabilities. Tasha K has gone in on Cardi B. She has said that Cardi B was a prostitute, and that she pimped herself out. So I didn't understand why she said pimped herself out. I feel like prostitute defined that already. Like, how can she pimp herself out? Was she beating her own ass at the same time? So I don't know what that was all about. But there was a lot of videos, a lot of content specifically about Cardi B on Tasha K's page. And apparently this information, these videos were getting a lot of traction, a lot of attention, because they got to Cardi B. And Cardi B says that during this time in her life where these videos were going viral, and Tasha K was claiming that Cardi B had an STI and all this foolishness, she said that it did cause her to feel suicidal. And that feeling of suicidal was, in some cases, a direct result of these videos. So, I mean, we look at celebrities, and I think that we see them more so as caricaturers of themselves, especially certain celebrities. And I can understand how somebody could see a Cardi B and think that they can say whatever to her. I can understand that because you see Cardi B as, oh, she's just funny, she's fun, she's loud, she's boisterous, she got that I don't give a fuck type of attitude, type of energy. But at the same time, we don't know this woman. Yes, that might be a persona that she puts on, that she's playing. It could also be a mask that she has put on. It could also be a defense mechanism. I just say that to say that we have to remember we don't know these celebrities. And I know that they don't seem like real people, but they are. So anyways, over the last few years, this case has been in court. And like I said, I kind of kept seeing little stuff about it, but I just didn't really put too much stock into it because Cardi B has always been one of those that don't play with the media. I remember Shade Room couldn't say her name for like 2 years. They couldn't post nothing about Cardi B for a minute. So I'm thinking like, okay, Cardi B done heard something she didn't like. Cardi B be clapping back at folks on Twitter, on Instagram, in the comments. So to me, I'm just thinking like, okay, this is somebody she pretty much kind of clapping back at again, you know. But the other day, Cardi B won the case. Cardi B won $1.25 million in damages for pain and suffering. And then she has some additional charges that equal out to like $3 million. She got to pay Cardi court costs. I think her lawyer fees. It's wild. And the thing that even made me talk about this, because I know that Tasha K is big. I actually checked. She got over 1 million subscribers actually on YouTube. So Tasha K is big. But I typically, unless it's like a show I listen to, I don't really follow a lot of bloggers and stuff like that. But I guess I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should edit that out. I don't know. But I just don't, I just wasn't familiar with her. Her content is not my specific cup of tea. So I say all that to just say I actually checked out it wasn't even an apology. I checked out the video she made today addressing all this shit. And it's just like, it's no remorse. It's no, I made a mistake, I messed up. Like I said, she coming out of pocket 3 M's. And this is all for her spreading rumors saying that, like I said, Cardi was a prostitute, she had herpes, she was intentionally spreading herpes. Cardi's team sent this woman a cease and desist 2 years ago. All this could have been done with. Yet she not only did she ignore the cease and desist, but she doubled down on her spreading of these vicious rumors and apparently lies, because I'm guessing Cardi had to bring her declaration of health to the courts to determine that Tasha K was spreading false information, spreading blatant lies, and defaming her name. And so basically, Tasha K put out this video today stating I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't do anything different. It's a conspiracy. The machine is trying to bring me down, and I'm speaking against what I consider evil. They want to push this. The machine want to push this. The machine is doing it. Like, bro, stop. Tasha K, stop. You was talking shit about somebody. Stop making it seem like bro, don't get on a soapbox, my nigga. Like, bro, don't get on a soapbox and make it seem like, oh, I'm doing this for God. I'm on a mission. Like, bro, you have a gossip blog. You're a gossiper. You like talking shit about people. That's it. You wasn't trying to spread no message of positivity and prosperity and young girls need to, like, Tasha, you're a blogger, a gossiper. I'm not saying that what you do doesn't have value. It does. Clearly it does. It has value, but don't act like what you do is better than what Cardi does. Cardi B built the same thing you did, a platform off of her being herself. And I don't know if it's because she light skinned. I don't know what it is. I don't know why you hate that woman so much. You've lost fans. I've seen people in different social media places saying they used to be a fan, but the Cardi B shit turned them off. It got to a point where every video was about Cardi B. And that's a turnoff for people. And then she had the nerve to say in a video, oh, I have since taken down the videos as a show of good faith. No, bitch, you took down them videos because the court probably ordered you to. That court's order, that means you don't have a choice. It's not an act of good faith. It means you take these video downs or there will be a further action. It might have been in the form of another M. So I'm sure that it was more so that than an act of good faith. I think for me personally, I didn't appreciate the straight up bullshit. Like, for me, if I'm wrong, I swear I will be the first to be like, you know what? Honestly, I made a mistake. I'm maybe not the first, maybe the second or third, but I'm gonna say it though. I'm never going to completely double down on being wrong. I'm not gonna double down like that. If I make a mistake that costs me some M's, best believe I'm gonna take some time to reflect. And you know what? A lot of times, in situations like the one that Tasha K is facing, and I can't say that I can relate, I can't say I understand, I've never been in this specific situation, but in a situation where you do feel like what you're doing is not wrong, you feel like what you're doing is right, and you get put back in a place of humility, sometimes it does still take some additional time to sit with your thoughts, to sit with your feelings, to sit with the situation from a distance, and realize that I was wrong. So maybe Tasha K just shouldn't have put out a statement so fast. I would have liked if she would have not put nothing out till like maybe Monday, but shit, the fact is, she got to make that money back. So I can understand shit. One of the first statements she put out was back to the grind. I bet it is, shit. So yeah, I think for me, just the lack of humility is a turn off. Just the arrogance to be like, I wouldn't do anything different. I didn't do anything wrong. It's a conspiracy. The machine is trying to break me. Like, this is one of those situations. I don't necessarily believe in the justice system, but I think just of justice being served. That's simple. You didn't have the right to say the shit you said about that woman, to spread rumors in that manner. You know, it's only so much gossiping you can do. So that's the show for today, you guys. Like I said, take that motivation that I gave you at the beginning with you through the rest of the week, month, year, lifetime. Let me throw it at you again one more time. Just one more time. And open up real quick and receive this. Have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell. That's Dr. Samuel Du Bois Cook. And also, we need to just get justice for Lauren Smith Fields. Once again, rest in peace, baby girl. That's just another black woman that case has been grossly mishandled by the police, the people in authority that's supposed to protect and serve us. The Am I the Asshole was crazy. The Tae Talk. And once again, Tasha, you wilding out like Nick Cannon. Slow down, pull the reins in, take some time to reflect on the situation. But otherwise, I definitely wish you continued success and everything like that. It's the Black Podcast Show. I'll be back at y'all again next week.
Please don't tell me I be going too goddamn far. Really, I be going so goddamn hard. Cause I don't give a fuck. I ain't worried about what you think. I'm not on your ship. I won't be with you when you think.